Excellence isn't built in a day. It's built in repetition, in the quiet, consistent actions that compound over time. But here's the problem. Most people don't fail because they lack discipline. They fail because they lack visibility. They don't actually know what they're doing consistently or where their energy is going. That's why one of the simplest, most effective tools for transformation is this: tracking your habits. Because what gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed gets mastered. I'm your host, Isaac, and today on the Standards of Excellence podcast, we're exploring the power behind tracking habits, why awareness creates control, how data drives discipline, and how tracking can turn small daily actions into extraordinary long-term results. Tracking habits isn't about obsession, it's about awareness. You can't improve what you can't see. When you track your behavior, you transform vague intention into visible data. Think about it for a second. Most people think they're consistent, but perception and reality rarely align. You might feel productive, but spend hours distracted. You might believe you're exercising regularly, but your records are going to show otherwise. Tracking cuts through the illusion. It gives you an honest mirror of your actions, not just your assumptions. And that honesty, we call it raw clarity, is the birthplace of progress. Because the moment you begin measuring something, you start influencing it. That's human nature. Measurement creates accountability, not through guilt, but through awareness. There's a psychological phenomenon called the Hawthorne Effect. It says that people improve simply because they know they're being observed. When you track your own habits, you become both the performer and the observer. You're watching yourself, you're aware, and that awareness changes behavior in real time. Why? Because your brain loves patterns. It wants to close loops, to see progress, and to keep a streak alive. Each time you log a habit, your brain releases a small amount of dopamine, a rewarding chemical that enforces that behavior. And that's how tracking transforms discipline from a chore into a feedback loop of progress. When you track, you turn effort into evidence, and evidence creates belief. Belief that your actions matter, that your consistency is paying off, and that your momentum is building. That belief is powerful. It sustains motivation long after inspiration fades. Most people overcomplicate tracking. They buy expensive apps, they create complicated charts, and then abandon them within just a matter of weeks. The best systems are simple, because tracking's not about the tool, it's about the attention. A journal, a whiteboard, a simple checklist, that's all you need. The goal is not to collect data for data's sake. The goal is to stay conscious of your actions. Your tracking system should answer just two questions. Did I do what I said I would do today? How many days in a row have I honored that commitment? That's it. Over time, that pattern builds emotional proof, a visible record that you are capable, consistent, and most importantly, trustworthy. That record changes how you see yourself. You stop relying on motivation because you have measurable evidence that you showed up. Tracking habits doesn't just show progress, it multiplies it. When you log your habits daily, you start noticing patterns. You begin to see what strengthens your performance and what drains it. You can connect cause and effect. You learn that when you sleep well, you think clearly. When you meditate, you make better decisions. When you exercise, your mood lifts. When you skip those things, your performance drops. That insight allows you to adjust, not from guesswork, but from data. The longer you track, the more you realize something profound. Progress is not a mystery, it's a measurement. Tracking makes invisible growth visible. It reveals the compounding nature of consistency, because excellence doesn't happen suddenly, it accumulates quietly through hundreds of small, measurable wins. Here's where most people go wrong. They turn tracking into punishment. They miss a day, they feel shame. They break a streak, they feel defeated. But the purpose of tracking isn't perfection, it's pattern recognition. Tracking doesn't judge you, it informs you. It shows you the truth, and the truth gives you options. You can't change the past, but you can adjust the patterns. When you approach tracking as curiosity instead of criticism, You remove the emotional weight. You start asking, what led to this, instead of, what's wrong with me? That's how self-awareness becomes self-mastery. You use information to improve, not to shame. Let's break it down into a simple framework, a system that you can begin using today. Step 1, choose what to track. Pick 3 to 5 behaviors that directly align with your goals. Don't track everything, track what matters. If it doesn't move you toward excellence, it doesn't belong on your list. Step 2, define the trigger and the measure. Attach each habit to a time or a cue. Example would be, after I wake up, I drink a glass of water. Track it as a simple binary done or not done. Step 3, make the data visible. Keep your tracker where you see it daily. Visibility fuels accountability. A visual streak, even a simple chain of check marks, reinforces consistency. Step 4, review weekly. Once a week, analyze the data, asking what's wrong, what worked, what's slipping, what pattern is emerging, and then use that data to refine your system. Tracking isn't static, it evolves as you do. The real reward of tracking habits isn't the data, it's the identity that it builds. Each time you log a habit, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. You're building proof that you are reliable, disciplined, and intentional. Over time, those small check marks become something greater, known as self-respect. Because nothing feels better than keeping the promises you make to yourself. And tracking it, how you witness that commitment in real time does that. If you want to change your life, start tracking it. But what you track grows. But what you measure improves. And but what you record becomes real. Thank you for listening to the Standards of Excellence podcast. If today's message resonated with you at all, share it with someone who's ready to move from intention to accountability. Until next time, pursue excellence, track your habits, and make today matter.